Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Susan. Today I want to share with you on how to make this pieces outfit with a symmetric neckline. It's actually very comfortable with a bell sleeve. So if this sounds like what you like to learn, let's get started guys. I'm going to use this Ankara fabric to actually recreate this style. So you'll be needing about 3 yards to 3.5 yards to recreate this style. Go ahead and fold your hip measurement plus extra allowance scissor is going to be enough for you to actually make this outfit. So I've gone ahead to do same. So and I've drawn this line to save our time. So this is our bust point and that's our under bust point, our waistline, our hip line, and also the full length of this particular outfit. And I added about 1 inch for seam allowance. So right now this is all we'll be needing. So right now I just went ahead to take our shoulder measurement divided by 2 and I added half inch to it. I went ahead and sloped the shoulder by half an inch, and from there I'm just going to connect it from that neckline to that shoulder. When I was done, I'm going to go ahead now to take our armhole measurement divided by 2. So what I have, I'm going to put it there. You can divide your bust point by 6. Whatever you have, you add 1.5 inches to it, and that will be your armhole. So when I was done, I'm just going to go ahead now to take exactly what we have at the shoulder at that armhole point, and we are going to go ahead now to connect with a straight line. So after that, for us to curve our armhole, I'm going to take a bust measurement divided by 4. Then a bust measurement divided by 4, and after that I'm just going to go ahead now and draw a straight line that way. When I was done, I'm going to divide this particular line by 2, and whatever I have, I'm going to mark it there, and I'm going to come in by about half inch from there. Going to come in by about half inch from there, and I'm just going to use my curve rule to connect it this way to give us that round arm or curve. So after that, I'm just confirming this, and because we already take our bust measurement at that bust point, so right now we are going to just come down by what we have at the bust at the armhole. We're just going to come down this way. So when we were done, what we are going to do now, we are going to take our underbust measurement divided by 4. Whatever we have, we add it there, and I added about half inch for ease, and I'm going to add about 1.05 inches for seam allowance. So when I was done, I also come down to our waist measurement, and I'll take our waist measurement divided by 4. I'm going to add half inch for ease. I'm also going to add 1.5 inches for seam allowance. When I was done, I'm just going to use my curve ruler this way, and I am going to connect this point together just like you see me doing. So you can go ahead and do same. So when I was done, I'm just going to keep it straight so I can connect it down to the waistline. So that's it. So from there, I'm going to determine where I want that slit to actually start. So from my waist, from my shoulder actually came down by about 4 inches after the waistline. It's about 4 inches after the waistline, and I'm just going to connect from that waistline that way. So when I was done, I came down to the down part. This down part, you're actually going to be using a hip measurement divided by 4, and we are going to add about 5 inches for both seam allowance and every other thing. We don't want it to be too big, so it's still going to be a little bit fitted. So I just added about just 5 inches extra, and that was it. So when I was done, I went ahead to cut it this way. So right now I'm going to use a nipple to nipple to actually come down by the slit. Like the slit is going to be a nipple to nipple. So I just did a nipple to nipple divided by 2. Then I added about half inch. So what I used was actually 4. It's going to be 4 straight. I remember I took 4 from where we are going to, from where the slit is going to start, and it's going to be till the end of this dress. So I'm just going to take about a nipple to nipple plus half an inch for seam allowance. So that was what I actually did. So right now I'm going to go ahead now to draw a straight line. The lines, that particular slit at the front side is actually straight, so it's only that the other side that is kind of coffee because of the A line over there. So I've gone ahead to draw these lines this way. Remember, this particular line is for where the slit is going to begin. You get me? It's for where the slit is going to begin. So that is our waist. So I just came down by about 4 inches after our waist. You get me? So it's going to be in between the waist and the hip. So when I was done, I'm just going to go ahead now to cut it, and you can see where I cut and how it is. So this is how it's going to be. We are only going to be cutting the front. So when I was done, I'm going to bring it over to this side, and I'm going to go ahead now to actually work on the neckline. So what I'm going to do, the neckline we're actually going to use is about 3 points, is about 2.05 inches. It's not up to 3 inches yet. I don't want it wide because my client's neck is not that wide, so I just want it moderate. So I went ahead to cut. So I didn't use up to 3 inches for that particular one because we're still going to cut further. So I don't want when I'm cutting and it's going to be, so I went ahead this way to fold it very well because I want the midpoint of the front. So when I was done, I'm going to go ahead now to chalk down so I will know exactly what I'm going to do, as I'm not using a pattern paper. We drafted directly on the fabric. So this is what I'm going to do. At this side, I'm just going to come in by about 1.5 inches. You can do 2 inches depending on how you want the neckline to be. So I just came down by that way, and from this other side I had to come down by about 7 inches. I don't want it to also go down that deep, so I came down by about 6 inches first. Then I'm just going to connect this line this way, a straight line. Then when I was done at this at the midpoint of the neck, I'm just coming down by about 2 inches also. You can do 1.5. Okay, I actually came down by about 2 inches. You can do 1.5 or anyhow you want it to be. Then at this other side, I'm just going to come down by something very little. So it's just going to be about 1 inch. That's what I'm going to come in by, 1 inch. At this other side, I came in by 2 inches. At the other side, I'm going to come in by about 1 inch. And from there, I'm just going to, from that 1 inch, I'll connect it to the midpoint with my curve ruler this way. So I'm just going to go ahead to connect it this way. So when I was done connecting it that way, I'm going to also turn my curve ruler to the other side, and I'm going to connect it down to this other inches that we have. You can choose to connect it this way. You can choose to connect it this way from that midpoint. Connect it this way. Just place your curve ruler this way, then connect it that way. Or you can choose to use a straight ruler just this way and just make a straight line. It all depends on what you want. So the straight one is what I'm actually going to be using. So that is it, guys. So we are going to go ahead now to cut this out. So guys, I want to use this medium to thank my subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for always coming back. And if you're just seeing my channel for the first time, please do well to subscribe, turn on the notification button so you'll be notified whenever I make a new post. Thank you. So I've gone ahead now to place my fabric this way, my front fabric into it this way, and I'm just going to go ahead now to trace the back pattern out of it. So first of all, I'm going to trace the neck out. Just be careful because the back neck, what I'm going to use for the back neckline is going to be the same for the back. It's going to be the same for the back. So what I will do right now is just that I will take 1 inch first for the back. I'll take 1 inch first. You can see I've already placed this on a fresh fabric, and I cut exactly and I kept about 2 inches for my seam allowance, so my zipper allowance. So you can see I've already cut the neckline for the front and for the back. So this is what we have for the back. So just go ahead and do the same. So after that, I'm going to go ahead now to work on the zipper allowance because I don't want any bulge coming out. So at the waist part, I'm just going to come in by half an inch to eliminate any kind of bulge. You know, our back sides are not always straight, so I'm just going to take about half inch out, and I'm going to go ahead now to connect it to the shoulder, and I'm going to go ahead now to connect it to the hip, just this way. Connect it upward and also connect it downward. So this is going to take care of anything bulging out. So that's it. I'm not actually going to replace it actually. So when I'm taking my zipper, this is how I'm going to take. So I'll also come down by about 1 inch at this down part. It's going to be for the both side. So I'm just going to go ahead now to connect it down this way. So when I was done, let's go ahead now to cut the neckline for both sides. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place this back at the front, as the right side facing right side, and I'll make sure that the shoulders, that the armhole are aligning, because I'm going to be cutting the shoulders, I'm going to be cutting the neckline. I'll fold my zip allowance this way. So just watch what I'm doing so you understand. If not, you're going to make mistake. By the time you're done, you find out that you actually cut the wrong side for the other side. So just be a little bit, when you're doing making this particular outfit, you're just going to be a little bit careful. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place them like this so that it will be easy for me. I'm just going to place them like this, and this is how I'm going to be joining them when I'm actually joining. You get? So just make sure that if you're placing the right side, it should be right side to the right side. If you're placing the wrong side, it should be wrong side to wrong side. So that's it. But just make sure that the armhole are actually equal, because they are going to be equal, like they are the same. So you know the part that you're cutting off, because the necklines are not the same actually. So but they are going to be the same when you're done. So but the other side and this other side, they are different. So that's it. So I'm just going to place them this way, and I'm just going to go ahead to cut it. So I'll go ahead and cut it. Then I'll know that when I'm joining, I'm actually joining this side to this other side. Then I will join the other side to the other side, and they are going to be even. You get me? So I just go ahead now to do that the same way, and I'll also repeat the same for the other side. When I am done, I'm going to cut lining for everything. Then I'm going to add pepper stay. I'm actually adding pepper stay because this Ankara is actually a small Ankara, like it's like medium. So I want it to be a little bit thick, so I'm going to add pepper stay. So when I was done adding pepper stay, and make sure when you're cutting your lining, you're also placing everything, and you make sure you're cutting exactly how you should cut. If not, you're going to make mistake. So I went ahead to cut my facing, because I'm going to add facing to it. So I'm just going to go ahead now to stitch my facing to the lining actually. So when I was done, we are going to go ahead now to place the lining on top of the actual fabric this way. You can see, place it this way, and I'm going to first of all turn the down part, so you can see how it is right now. So I'm going to turn the down part, placing this side this way, and you're going to stitch it. When you get to this other point, when you get to the slit, you turn it, and you also turn it that way. You should be doing that with Amy gum, so when you want to iron it to be easy for you to actually iron. So when I was done stitching, this is how it actually came. You can see that line, it did not exceed that line. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead now to notch across all points, notching it closely and making sure you're careful so it doesn't tear out. So after I was done notching, I'm also going to go ahead now to flip it over to the front, because you're going to turn the front neckline. Before you do this, you have to make sure that your upper and the at the armhole, you just make sure that they are equal. Then you make sure that the down part of this particular outfit, that is going to be all right, so you are not going to have excesses. If you have excesses at the armhole of the lining, you can actually trim it. but just make sure that the down part is okay. So when you're done, you're just going to go ahead and stitch it that way that I showed you. So when I was done, this is how it came out. So I'm going to go ahead now to notch it. You should be doing this with your Amy gum. So I'm going to go ahead now to notch it, and when I am done notching it, I'm going to flip it over to the front. So we just keep it aside. We'll repeat the same pattern for the back, but at the back side we are going to turn the down part, we are going to turn the zipper allowance side, and we are going to turn the neckline. So just use half inch and turn the down, and that is it. You're also going to turn the neckline that way. So when I was done, this is what we have, guys. So we'll do the same for both sides. So I had to save my time, so that is how it's going to be. Done. I'm just going to go ahead now and flip to the front. Look at what we have. So we have aiming gum inside, so we are just going to iron it. Yes, we're just going to iron it, and this is what we have. You iron everything to make sure that they are straight. Yes, so that is it. This is me just arranging it, and at this upper part you arrange it also. That's it, guys. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So at the side now, so we are done with the front, we are done with turning the linings and all of that. So right now we are going to go ahead now to, I've joined the shoulders already. When I was joining it, it wasn't showing, so it's just the normal way you join your shoulders. That's how I join the shoulders together, and I've stitched the zip allowance also. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to shape this dress. I'm going to shape it lining to lining, and I'm going to shape it cloth to cloth, and we are going to stop at that point where we have the slit, because the slit is also going to continue at the side. So what I'm going to do, I'm just taking my shape. So that's my bust point, and I'm just going to take my under bust point. I'm going to take my waistline, and I'm going to stop at where the slit is going to end. Those are where my measurements are going to be, and that's exactly the lines that I'm drawing right. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and shape this cloth by dividing it by 2 inches and putting on both sides what you have. You share them equally on what you have. Then when you get to that point where you have the slit, that down, this particular point, you're going to make it half an inch. So that's how it's going to be. So we are going to also mark on the main fabric, then on the lining also, as you've seen me doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch it, the fabric to fabric, and I'm going to stitch lining to lining. So I'm just going to notch that point, so when I'm stitching I'll know exactly how to go about it. So I am done stitching the lining. You can see already I'm done stitching the lining. I'm also going to flip it, and I'm going to stitch on the actual fabric. So when I'm done, I just go ahead now to turn it this way. You can see how it is. So it actually stopped at where we are going to have the slit, just as the way we did other ones. So right now we have a full from the armhole down to where we're going to have the slit at the side, which is also the same particular place where we have at the center. So right now I'm just going to flip it over to the back again, and I'm going to stitch it like this with half an inch. I'm going to be using Amy gum to do that. You just have to take your time while doing this particular time. Now you're stitching it, the actual fabric and the lining, because you want, if you stitch it lining to lining, that means you're going to be closing it. So you're going to stitch it the actual fabric and the lining. So I'll go ahead and notch that place. Then I'm going to bring out the lining this way. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm going to bring out the lining this way, and I'm going to just place them this way, and I'm going to stitch. I'm going to go ahead now to stitch with an half inch, and when I'm done stitching from one end to the other, and I'll also stitch the other end. So right now I'm just flipping it over to the front so we can actually work on the other side of the slit. So this is it. I'm just flipping over. So I'll go ahead also now to stitch the other side, just as you've seen me doing. So when I was done, I'm just going to go ahead now to flip it over to the front, and guys, this is what we have already. So that is it. We're just going to go ahead and arrange it and use Amy gum. So this is the sleeve that I've already gone ahead to cut a sleeve on a pattern paper. So what I'm going to do, I just look for a fresh fabric and I'm going to place it and I'm going to cut the bell sleeve out. So right now I'm just adding allowances to the actual sleeve length. So this is actually the normal sleeve, so there was no need of me showing you guys how to do it, just to save our time, guys. So I'm just going ahead to add all the allowances that we need. So the length for this dress is actually, the length of this sleeve is actually about 24 inches, so it doesn't have to be short. So after that, I'll just do that way so I can be able to remove the pattern paper and all of that. So I'll also increase it by the length, because the length of the pattern paper is not enough. So I'm going to add about some inches for stitching allowance. Yes, so after that, I'm just going to go ahead and increase here, and I'm also going to make the how wide I want the down part to be. So I'm going to use about 13 inches or 14 inches. Then I'll come down here by 4 inch. I'll connect this way with a straight line. Then from the 4 inch that I came down from that point, I'm just going to connect it straight. This is so there is a slit from that place, so that place where there is no slit has to still be fitted. That is why I came down by 4 inches that way. So this is what we have, guys. You can see the extra we have from our actual sleeve measurement. So this is the extra that we have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to determine where I want the sleeve to be. So I'll just come down by about 5 inches or 4.05 inches. So from there, I'm going to use half inch to stitch the up. So I actually left half inch up, so I came down by 4.5 inches at the sleeve, and that is where we are going to cut. You can see I'll just cut it through, and that's where our slit is going to start for the sleeve. So when I was done, this is what we have, guys. I've gone ahead to cut it on lining, so I'm going to add a lining to it because the actual because the fabric is actually light, so I'm adding lining. And I've also gone ahead to add facing. You can see on that sleeve there is a facing on it, so I decided to stitch mine, not just to join it. So that's how it's going to be on the lining. So I'm just going to place it this way, and I'm going to trim it. I'm going to sew it with half an inch. I'll sew the down part, I'll sew the slit. When I get it, I'll turn it that way, and I'll also finish up the sleeve. This is it. When I was done, I'm just going to go ahead and notch. When I was done notching, I'm just going to cut through that point, and I'm going to try to bring it out this way, so you guys see how it is, guys. So you can see how it is. You're going to give it a good press, guys. So this is what we have. That's what we have. So the excesses at the up, I'm just going to trim it. You should have these excesses because we did not trim anything out. The lining was the same. So that's it. So at this down part, this is what we're just going to do. We are going to stitch it lining to lining and fabric to fabric. That's how we are going to finish up the sleeve, so it's going to be neat. You can do it anyhow you want it, or you can actually do it this way. It all depends on how you want your outfit to come out. I don't want the seams to be showing outside, so doing it this way will just take time, but it will make the work to come out beautiful. So that is it. This is it for our sleeve, guys. I'll just keep it aside. I've gone ahead to cut on this chantilly lace. I've cut it just the normal way you cut your sleeve, so it's going to be double. So we are going to put it inside this. We are going to put it inside the lace. What I did, I actually stitched it front to front, so they are not going to be seam inside. They are not going to seams are not going to be showing because I stitch it front to front and back to back. So that is why it is going to be like that. So after that, we just I've stitched them inside already. I've stitched them together, so they have become one sleeve now. So I'll just bring my actual fabric right now that we are done sewing, plus my fabric. So I'll just turn it this way, and I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to stitch the sleeve round. You know, before you do this, you've already measured the round sleeve of what you have here. That is what you're going to use in cutting your sleeve. You're actually going to use your round armhole measurement to cut out your sleeve. So that's it. So when I was done, I'm just going to use my pins to pin them down so it will be easy. Then I'll flip it inside this way because I'm going to stitch it front side facing front side. And I've already also going to go ahead and notch the midpoint of the sleeve and also the midpoint of the armhole. So this is it. When I was done, I'm going to also go ahead, use pin, and I'm going to pin round. Then I'll take it over to the machine and I'm going to stitch them through together. So when I was done stitching, this is how it is, guys. You can see how it is. They are not going to be seams showing anywhere, and this is exactly how it's supposed to be, neatly. You can see. So I'm going to flip my hand, and this is how it's going to be, guys. So this is the outcome of the dress. So this is where I would like to come to an end of this video. Please go ahead to subscribe, turn on the notification button, and please like this video, share to your friends. And in my next tutorials, I'm going to teach you how to make this particular pant. So do well to subscribe, and see you in my next one. Bye.